See, when you still have time, you don't care. Somebody, if you're 22, somebody says the wall, you're not really sweating it. But when you're 29 and somebody says the wall, then you got a problem with the concept of the wall. Why? Because you wasted those years. The wall exists for a reason.
What is up, guys? It's your boy back. Hope you're having a good day wherever you are. Hope your week has been a good one, and I hope your next week is also great. Let's keep me yapping to see the timestamps. But today, as usual, we're getting into some good old KS. Rest in peace, the Godfather. Remember, check out his YouTube. You know where to find it. It's his name. But I wanted to give my thoughts on this particular topic of women hating the wall because, oh man, I got some thoughts on this. I'll save most of them for the end. Might insert a few in the middle, but remember, just use the timestamps if you want to skip them because I've got some thoughts on this. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff that makes the algorithm happy.
The numbers speak for themselves. Because at the end of the day, women are coming into places to where men are. And that's the ultimate issue with a lot of these people who have problems with things that, like I say or some of the other guys are saying. It doesn't matter how I say it. The fact is, there's some women that just are just are angry. I don't want to say they just have a problem with black men. He can never be right. Nothing you can ever do is good. And the problem is that you have starting to have women, younger women period, coming over into here because here's the thing. Whether you are this or that or level up or date out, the end consumer of the product that is a woman is a man. And if you got all this theory and mindset for women and there are no men picking them up, getting them, coupling and moving on, means nothing. So let's get into it. You said, where the high value women at? Behind that preposition. Behind that preposition. The high value women would see that statement and be like, ah. See, I listened to what 50 said. I listened to what Curtis Jackson said, and it wasn't insulting. He was stating his preference. And the thing is, why not just say, if this is what men like him want, and if I want a man like him, you're going to have to give him what he wants. I have yet to hear women in mass, when you hear a lot of sisters, especially older sisters, say black men say we're angry, we're this, we're that, we're hard to cooperate with, we're not submissive. All right. Then if you hear this, why don't you become that? You hear what, it's not as though you don't hear what these guys are saying they want. Let's just be real. You don't feel as though you have to give it to them. Because far too many women in our culture feel as though they are above the men. This is a culture thing. More than a race thing, it's a culture thing. You don't have to respect. You can say, I'll respect my man and I'll submit to my man. Yeah, but you'll give every other man in the culture your butt to kiss. And that's not how this thing works. And sadly, while you have between 16 and 29, men have between 18 and 90. What are you going to do? Because it's not as though he said something wrong or was being overly rude. But if he decides he wants to go down the path and do something different, he has the option. So that's most. Hey man, you can't type in all caps, man. You can't type in all caps; it'll time you out. Hey man, if you come in here typing in all caps, Wallace, type like you have some sense, man. You're gonna have to go. You love Derek Jackson? Okay, cool. Enjoy. Look, man, I don't have problems with people. I don't have a problem with if you like somebody's content. I think some of the things he says is dangerous to women, especially older women. If they aren't getting on tonight, they're like, oh, I don't want that part. So, what else was I going to say? I was listening to, I'm not going to say the woman, but I want to get back to this other part. Older women, and when I talk about older women, we're talking about from a marriage standpoint. That means women over 30. 30 years old is old to be contemplating a first marriage. Go to matchmakers, wedding planners, anybody will tell you that's just what it is. It's old to be planning a wedding. Okay? Like I said, we got to start calling things what they are. And again, I heard a woman talking about the wall, that men hit the wall too, and how, if you're a black woman, the wall isn't the wall for you. This notion that you can make up rules to suit you just because again, notice how when women like this begin to speak, they want to change things because they've aged past. See, when you still have time, you don't care. If you're 22, somebody says the wall, you're not really sweating it. But when you're 29 and somebody says the wall, then you got a problem with the concept of the wall. Why? Because you wasted those years. The wall exists for a reason.
And Kevin makes an amazing point here. Really, really, really valid. And something that I've had personal experience just kind of testing out because if you guys haven't watched my videos before, I like to test out a lot of these red pill theories. And just generally, by the way, if you want to skip me yapping, use the timestamps. But back to it, I've asked a lot of different women that I've dated throughout the years because I've been in the red pill space for about 5 years. I've dated a good few dozen women at this point, different races, ages, so on. And I dated a woman who was 40, really, really sweet woman, great, awesome, could cook, just amazing. I love me some MILFs. But I asked her about this kind of stuff because, I also dated other, younger women as well who were like in their 20s and, like late 20s, maybe even early 30s, so on, stuff like that. I'd say, hey, what are your thoughts on this? On the wall, basically. And she'd say, well, yeah, like she would show me pictures. She was like, well, of course I don't look as nice as I did when I was, 25. I'm 40 now. I've seen life. Of course I'm not as youthful. And yeah, it's probably a low chance I can have kids. Like she was very, very honest with me. And that's something that I find with a lot of the women that I've spoken to, even if I haven't dated them, just asking them about this kind of stuff, who are post-wall, like 30 plus, really like call it 35 plus. They are usually a lot more honest. Not all the time. I've dated some that are very delusional, but they're usually very honest about this. They'll say, hey, the wall, it does exist. I'm not as beautiful as I was before. I'm not as perky as I was before. I'm not as fit as I was before. And obviously it doesn't apply to every single case, but most of the time it does. And the world operates in generalities. A lot of people try and make it about their special snowflake syndrome, and that's just not how it works. This just is the truth. But when they're in their 20s, they're not thinking about any of this. This isn't even they're like, what? Old? My boobs will sag. What now? What are you talking about, you crazy lady? Now you're just an old hag. You don't know what you mean. Even though these women are trying to save them because, these chicks act like they're going to live this way forever. So they put off marriage. They put off families. They put off being a good woman, really. Because, what else do you call it when these chicks are out here, getting clapped by the whole town? It's not a good look. No guy wants that in marriage. And the longer they're out here, Kevin specifically has talked about this. The longer they're out here, the higher the chances they're getting more shaboing boing. And, I'm going to say that word because YouTube friendly, but you guys get what I mean.
The wall exists for a reason. Yeah, Derek Jackson graduated high school in 2007. Yeah, that's another thing. I gotta say, I'm looking at you women with a side eye who really listen to what he says. He just turned 30. And especially older women listening to him, you should know better. The women that can listen to him, really, if they were in their teens to early 20s, sure. There's no way a guy who just turned 30 can tell you anything. Not for the entirety of women. Let me say that. The wall. I mean, I heard this woman say, well, you're just wrong about the wall, and a man can hit the wall too. If a man's money is not right, he's at the wall. Yeah, but see, he can always go get more money. You can't go get more time. Can't. A man can get himself together and inside of 3 years, turn his entire life around. You can't do that. Again, age gap dating. The group of women that have the women have a problem with it because they can't do it. Older women dating younger men know that there is no future in this. It is just a short time, but again, they're wasting the most valuable time. If a woman's dating a man 10 years younger than him, when he decides he's done with that, she's just wasted her time. And what you're going to notice is it comes down to time. Patriarchy, gender roles, traditional values, all comes down to time. So go ahead. If I got something wrong on this high value thing, go ahead, join in. But see, the thing is, Heidel, if you're typing the caps, man, it's going to block you. If you type in caps, it's going to block you. And I said it the other day. Who can tell you sisters the truth? Who can tell you the truth? All right, this is just a second. You need hello? All right, this is just a second time calling. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, Tamika.
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Hey, how are you? How many times have you called into my show?
I think this might be my third time. The first time you weren't hearing me so well. The second time we had a discussion. This is my third time.
We've had 2 discussions. So what can I help you with?
I have a question. You make a statement sometimes.
Hold on, Allison. I will get back. I'm gonna put you back in the waiting room, Allison. You'll be up next, okay?
Sure, no problem.
No. You can stay. You can stay, Tamika. Go ahead, Tamika. Go ahead. I make a statement that. Go ahead. Ask your question.
So I've heard you say quite a few times that unmarried women will generally die alone. But based on my observation, if a woman is younger,
what's the question? What's the question? I don't need a statement. Just give me the question.
Wouldn't a married woman who is much younger than her husband die alone as well?
But she got a chance to be married and have a life and have kids. It's not a trick question. 1 out of 3 black women marry. That means 3 out of 4 will die unmarried, i.e. die alone. It's 75% most. It's 75%.
Okay, I was just saying.
It's 75% most.
Sure, yes.
Okay, so if most black women don't marry in their lifetime, won't most black women die alone?
I agree. I'm not disputing that part.
Okay.
I'm just saying if a female is much younger than her husband, it is likely for him to pass away before her, and she will die alone regardless.
Okay. You're trying to play tit for tat. It doesn't matter. She got married. The other ones didn't. Focus on the one. Okay, you're not married.
No.
And this is and I would say this topic likely bothers you.
No, it doesn't.
Then why are you okay? Then what is your ultimate point? That hey, everybody dies alone. Well, if you want to get technical, Tamika, everybody dies alone. No one dies with somebody else. That's not the point. See, let me explain something to you. Many black women are like you. You always have to be right. You're going to still argue when you're wrong on the facts. If you looked in the chat room, everybody's saying, what the fuck is wrong with this woman? Most black women die alone, and you're still talking about, well, a woman who gets married to an older man and he dies, she still dies alone as well.
For the most part, I agree with all the things that you say. This just particular part, it's almost...
Get off my show. I don't give a shit if you agree with most of the things. This is ridiculous. I'm not going to sit there and argue with your ass about the fact that most women are going to die alone if they don't get married. Wasting my time. Again, you see? It doesn't matter if you're right on the facts. Even if they agree with you, you're right. 1 out of 4 will get married. That means 3 out of 4 won't. So the 3 out of 4 that don't get married will die alone. Instead of just saying, yeah, but isn't that just as bad as if one of the ones that got married, see what they're trying? It's almost like I heard this argument where somebody tried to make being a baby daddy and being an in-home father the same thing. We try to make dysfunction normal so we don't have to feel some way about it. If that is not a dysfunctional ass culture, I don't know what it is. And you called me 3 times. I remember your calls.
And that's going to be the end of the video, guys. As you saw at the end, Kevin, he did his Kevin thing. That man is the GOAT for a reason. He remembered this woman's calls because, I mean, I've watched pretty much all the stuff throughout the years because I was a huge fan when he first, especially during COVID. And yeah, a lot of those women would call over and over again because they try and prove a point or try and get more clout. Who knows? You know, they're strange creatures sometimes. But that said, I used a lot of my thoughts really in the middle of the video. So if you want to go back and listen to that, just use the timestamps. And also, you know, remember, like, comment, subscribe, all that. But to finish it off, I mean, this is just a reality check. These women still to this day don't have it. You know, this is 5 years later now. And still these women are in denial. I still talk to women who are, no, nothing like that. I'm not, blah, 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 blah. Like, they just don't want to listen, or they hear you, but they're not listening to you, you know? It's, look, it's survival of the fittest. Gotta call it what it is. Nature has always been this way. I think people just kind of forgot about that because things have been very nice and peaceful, but the gene pool will find a way to remove you if you don't adhere to its rules. And if these women don't want to adhere, then I hope they enjoy their cats and boxed wine. And yes, that is very real. I dated a woman who was 37. And the first time I went to her apartment, she was like showing off her boxed wine collection and explaining it to me. And I had to hold back all the laughter. I was like, oh my God, Kevin Samuels is right. He was right all along.